Hi everyone, this is John Wen. Today is June 2019. I will record this video to briefly talk about what I've been done in past week. So here is the highlights. For past week, I'm working on debugging the local version of Workflow Executor. Since the tasks will read or input from files and write output to files, so if as we planned in previous video, if we hope to save the intermediate result to a static object, it may need to change the current task's I/O, like in the task where you read from and where you output, write the files or write the object. So for this moment, maybe we will save the intermediate result as previous workflow executor to 10 files instead. And also I added two methods, that is mapping the input and file and mapping output and file method to take care of mapping tasks input ports index to corresponding files. That means every input, and for every input you have input port and which files you will refer to, and then parse that into the task, because task will take the inputs file and also the ports, and then it will process the task and then output the result. So the fourth item is I use a calc covariance matrix workflow as an example. So far I was able to start all the threads and run into the first task to split columns. So we can take a look at what I have been done in past week. So here's the workflow executor local version, and this is a mapping input and file method, basically just to take all the the input ports from the task and to loop through them and get every port and their file location. Here we will consider two situations. And first one is if the source task is null, that means it's the first task, so we will directly get from the source file. If it is not, we will get the previous one and to point the ports to that file and to put them into this input port and file object and return it. Here should be the line, and then return it from this method. And we also have the similar method that mapping output and file. Also we take two situations to consider, and first one is if it is the last one or not. If it is last one, we will write to a file directly to a destination file name, and if it is not, we will write to the child file, and so we will link them together and save into a temporary file name, the task ID, instance ID underscore the port index.txt. So here is what I'm debugging right now. So we are in the first thread. Let me show you. So you can see total number of tasks is 17, and the first -1 is running. I think all the 17 threads are running right now, and we are running to the first one, and it has too many things before, like it gets a files, check the files, and mapping the inputs and outputs, and then we finally get into a certain task, and first thread is first task, and here we loop through all the inputs and to get the inputs ports and file. Here you can see actually we have already get the 0 port because it has only one input as a matrix txt file, and we also, the same way we map map the output and files here, and here has I believe there are 5 because we are splitting the columns into the matrix into 5 columns, so we have 0 to 4 and mapping to the intermediate files. So the problem is while I run this, let's go to debug and goes into this one, and this is a column split task. And if we can see here, actually I'm getting a null instead of the previous in previous page we can see the file repository in the matrix.txt. So I'm still working on to debugging the whole workflow executor, and so far there are some issues has been resolved, but still be some, including this one. I will keep work on this one as soon as possible and try to wrap them up. Thank you so much for your time today. Until next time.